Hey guys, it's Mike. Kind of funny this particular subject, but it's definitely a subject that's worth talking about, I guess. A buddy of mine, young person that I work around, brought up something that it actually got me thinking a lot about the phrase. But what I'm being amused by at the moment is the concept of the friend zone. I know. I actually, before I bothered to look into like making my own, conversation about the friend zone, I decided to go online and look at what so many other people probably have to say about that particular mysterious land, the friend zone. So I went ahead and, watched, a couple hours worth of content about the friend zone from, the guy that's really just kind of, a guy and has an opinion like me, I guess, who wants to talk about all the ways that, you can do better to get out of the friend zone, or how to, not get in the friend zone. And somebody else did a content about, the friend zone doesn't exist, you're an asshole. And another one I saw was, they're talking about the nice guy and how, everybody hates the nice guy. And so, I kind of put it all together and I have my own thoughts on it. So I realized that I should share it. So I'm going to share it. I agree that the friend zone doesn't exist. The friend zone is a construct. It's a myth that people have built or embraced to circle around having a way to accept having been too cowardly to address something, the way they feel, the way they want to feel, or who have been rejected after doing so by somebody who was nice enough to reject them, but not mean enough to, I guess, make them understand that it's not going to change. Because to be in the friend zone implies that there's a chance of being in the romantic zone, and a lot of the time, you could be in one or the other. But if somebody is unavailable to be romantic, then they're just unavailable. You're not in the friend zone. You're just not on the menu. And so that's just life. I mean, the hot dog doesn't get mad when the hamburger's on the menu today. You're both on the list of things that are palatable, and you're not the one that's happening right now. Have to get over that. It's just how it goes. And the same thing is we've all been there. If you've lived long enough, you've been there. You've been the person that wanted somebody else. I certainly have been the person who wanted somebody else, and either expressed it or didn't, and got results or didn't based on that expression. So I have a friend, say, and if I really like her, but we're really good friends, or I really value her friendship, I ask her about it, or I talk to her, or whatever. And that was, sort of my method, was just like feeling it out. Now, to be honest, I've always been pretty confident. So, the friend zone has usually been a construct that I built because I was, somewhat afraid of the loss of a friend. And then as I got older, I started to realize, and this is, I guess, one of the things I really want to share, is that if they're really your friend, the friend zone is a separate place. If it exists at all, if you want to say that it exists, it's a separate thing. It's a Venn diagram. That's what it is. And the friend zone is its own place, and the relationship zone is its own place. And if you make it a Venn diagram, you fit somewhere in there. You could do it with a quadrant too, I guess, lines in both directions, and you're somewhere on one side or the other side, or somewhere in the mix, but they are what they are, and you can just be friends, and you're not in the friend zone, you're friends. And so if both people are romantically interested in each other and they're friends, well then that's it. You know, you have the option there, and then it's just a matter of is there availability to match the interest. Like, you know, like we have chemistry with people on a regular basis, and just because you feel chemistry doesn't mean that the other person feels chemistry. And even if you both feel chemistry, but they're happy where they are in the relationships they're in, or if they have no current interest in pursuing a relationship with you or without you, deal with it. Like, it's fine. You know, anybody, you know, you'll find there's plenty. I mean, there's what, 8 billion people on the planet. Like, if you're upset about being friend zoned by one of 8 billion people, or 4 billion people, I mean, if you're, you know, if you're only going with one or the other, if you're a straight dude and, you know, 4 billion people, and if you chop that to the number of people that are old enough to be in your category, you know, whatever it is, that are old enough to be of interest to you, well, that probably brings the number, you know, to like, you know, I don't know, 2.5 billion people. 2.5 billion people is a pretty good selection. I mean, to be upset about being friend zoned by one is just dumb. You know, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt your feelings. It doesn't mean you're not sad about it. But you got to get over it because it's real. And the thing is, the only thing that you achieve by being mad at somebody else or being upset with yourself is you know, you kind of start giving off like a, I don't know, like a rapey vibe. I mean, when you start acting like somebody who doesn't want you should want you, you know, and that isn't cool. Like, there's enough to go around if you're just there. Get better at being who you are. Get better at being you. And you know, the natural match will kind of find its way. And there's no hurry. You know, the whole fear of dying a 30-year-old virgin or something, I guess. You know, yeah, whatever. I get it. You know, you know, it depends on your priorities. I guess if your priority is, you know, keeping up with some kind of bizarre, you know, sexual agenda of like making sure you get, you know, laid enough on a certain timeline, then I guess it could be frustrating if you thought you had somebody who met your criteria and for one reason or another it didn't happen. But it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, really, you know, it's nice to feel the love. I get it, you know, but that's what we have friends for. That's what friendship is. That's the friend zone. I mean, really, it's like the whole notion of like even friends with benefits. It's like friendship is the benefit. You know, I mean, if you're friends with somebody, like the benefit for them is that you're their friend, and the benefit for you is that they're your friend. And if either one of you is less than genuine about that part of it, well, then that's the real problem. You know, is that you really want something other than friendship. You don't want friendship too. You want something else. Because if you can be friends with somebody and find romance later on, or if you have a romantic interest and you've still got friendship and then the relationship doesn't work out for lack of compatibility or whatever, you still have the friendship part. So the friend zone is its own thing, and it isn't a negative thing. If it exists at all, it's not negative. It's friendship. You want to be friends with somebody, be friends with somebody. If you're not going to be friends with somebody, then don't be friends with somebody. But don't act like being a friend with somebody isn't enough, that it isn't satisfactory, that you're not happy about it. You're their friend, and that's enough. And if they don't want you, that's fine, because they're your friend, and you wouldn't want your friend to be with somebody they don't want. And you know, because you're normal, hopefully you're intelligent, that's how it works. Like, you can't just make somebody like you. You know, it doesn't work across the board. Now, as a man, sometimes it's easier, some would say, for us to like people, but think about the people that you don't have an interest in. If there's ever been a person that you weren't interested in, if you're the person who feels friend-zoned, okay? If the person that you weren't interested in wanted to be with you, pick anybody you know that isn't interested in, that you're not interested in, that's doesn't meet your criteria. Too fat, too skinny, too white, too black, too aggressive, too passive, to, you know, whatever criteria there are about the person. They smell in a way that you're not happy about how they smell. When they get stinky, they stink bad to you. You know, because there are people who stink good to you, I'm sure. So, you know, think about that person. Now, you just don't want that. It isn't shallow. It's friggin' evolution at work. It's like, that doesn't make me feel good. That person isn't an upgrade from my genetic code or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, they have no reason to be upset with you for not wanting them. You know, and I realize that anger, disappointment, whatever you want to call it, is not a rational thing. So, you know, you can't control being angry about it in the first place, or being upset or depressed. Like, those are not really rational feelings. They're feelings. By definition, they're not rational. They just are. But overcoming them requires a little bit of rational thought, so you get to that point. You know, it just doesn't work. And if you're somebody's friend and they don't want you that way, and just you're their friend, and that's fine. You can be all the other things that you want to be for them, to the extent that it makes you happy. That's how it kind of works, and they're going to do the same thing for you. And to ask for more than that, to expect more than that, to even want them to try more than that, you know, it's coercive, it's not friendly. So if you're really a friend to them, if you're in the friend zone, and that's what you want to call it, and you either better be a fucking friend or get out. You know, you can be an acquaintance and leave it alone. But, you know, if someone's not wanting you, you're not that person for them, at least not now, then, you know, you have a better chance of it working out later. And half the time when it works out later, you're otherwise occupied or interested, and they're no longer available, and you're not available to them. Like, that happens a lot too, sometimes when you feel compatibility with someone and they don't feel it. You know, later on, they'll feel compatibility when you don't feel it, because it's really not that good of a match, you know? So, and that's the bottom line. It's just because you think everything lines up and they don't. Like, there's more to it, there's more at work than that, and you just move on. You know, the time will come or it won't come, but it's not going to change because you're mad or sad. You know, so go be mad or sad, go hide in the friend zone until you're over it, and then either be their friend or don't be their friend, but stop acting like that's the thing, you know? So, I mean, that's my version of the construct of rejection version. If it's because you're afraid of approaching it and you think that they don't know, well, either you're dead wrong and they totally know and they don't want to talk about it because they don't feel the same way, or they don't know and you should just tell them how you feel. Get over it, you know? Because you have to accept the fact that if you're not willing to talk about it, it's either because you're just a coward and you're afraid to talk about it because you're afraid that they're not as good a friend as you think they are, or you're afraid that you're not as good a friend as you think you are, and that one of you guys is going to end the friendly relationship, you know, and it's going to be bad, it's going to be messy, it's going to be whatever, you know. So if that's the case, then you have to just accept the fact that you like somebody, and that you're there because one or both of you are unwilling to face the facts, the truth of the feeling, you know? But if you put it on the table, you say, look, don't ask me what you're putting on the table, since, you know, you're already friends. There's only one thing left to put on the table, I guess. But if you put it on the table and say, look, this is how I feel, this is what I am, this is what I want from you, this is what I want to give to you, and they say, I don't want to give it back to you, or I don't want to receive it from you, it's done. It's done. You've faced it. You can now go into the rejection corner, or you can go into the relieved corner because you've been accepted or rejected, but at least you know where you stand. Because half of that is fear. I mean, half of fear is just not knowing what's really going to happen. Once you know that they're into it. Now, if they walk away, that person doesn't want to be around you, or if you become inconsolable or unable to be a friendly person now that you're not wanted beyond it, then either you were never a friend, or you're not emotionally mature enough to go there anyways. So, you know, take some time to get more emotionally mature. Go find out more about yourself. I mean, I don't know, I've always been a proponent for the concept that nobody completes me. Nobody should complete you. I mean, if you're, you know, if you're looking for a relationship of any kind, you know, and you're not complete, then you're going to be draining that person. You're not going to be giving them anything, you know. The best partnerships that I've ever been in, the best relationships have come in a situation where I didn't need them. I didn't need their money. I didn't need their loving because of the loving part, because I felt like I needed it. I just really wanted to be around them, and they really wanted to be around me, and everything that we did was better together. But it wasn't like there was a hole in my life when they weren't there. I could miss them immensely, but it wasn't like I didn't know what to do with myself. Because if you don't know what to do with yourself with somebody, like, I don't know, it's just the whole you complete me thing was bullshit on Jerry Maguire. And I've always felt that way. Like, just, nobody completes me. I am me, and I'm better with my wife. Shit, when we met, I knew immediately that I wanted her in my life for as long as she wanted to be in it. I knew for a fact that she was it. I was like, you know what? It's been 2 days. I'm calling my mom. We're gonna do that. I'll have to tell that story another time. But I knew immediately she was gonna be the mother of my children, and I'm glad I was right. Otherwise, I might have got friend zoned. Like I said, friend zone isn't a thing. I wouldn't have got friend zoned. I would have either become her friend, or I would have moved on and accepted the fact that I was just wrong. And that's the bottom line. I mean, really, either you've been rejected and you're using the friend zone as a hiding place, or you never actually addressed it and you're hiding from the fact that nobody wants to talk about it. There is no friend zone, It doesn't exist. I mean, it's just a matter of not wanting to address it, There's no friend zone. It's a made-up place. It's about as real as the closet that gay people hide in, They're in there until they're ready to let the world know how they feel and what they're about and who they are. Same thing goes for the friend zone. You're only in there until you accept what's going on and who you are, and what's going on and who they are. After that, there's no friend zone. You're either friends, you're romantic, you're both, but the friend zone isn't a thing. It's self-inflicted. It's a construct, and deal with it, and then get out of it, and go make a friend for real. Go get some romance for real. Go be happy with who you are until you're so happy with who you are, or at least satisfied with who you're gonna be, that you're not gonna need to be completed, that you are complete. And then when you meet somebody, you're no longer looking for somebody who needs you because you need to be important enough to them to be needed. You meet somebody who doesn't need you but still wants you. It's amazing. And there's no friend zone there. You're just friends, and you're romantic. I mean, shit. My wife and I have a communication problem. The communication problem is that we just can't stop talking to each other. If for any reason, you're wondering, like, we can sit in utter silence just staring at our phones all day long. Or we can put them down and talk about anything, all the time, nonstop. Because we're totally friends. It's no friend zone. It's just me and her, and we're good, building our lives and doing our stuff so that we're happy. Anyways, so that's my thoughts on the friend zone. If you have other thoughts, feel free to put them in the comments. Tell me you think I'm an asshole. Tell me you think I'm right on. Tell me you think that I got it made up because I'm just so darn handsome and I don't know what it's like to be in the friend zone, to not meet those criteria. I'll tell you, you're wrong. I've definitely been the wrong guy for somebody and been, pigeonholed in the friend zone until I realized that I was only pigeonholed in the friend zone because I couldn't let go of the fact that they didn't, make me their first choice or make me their only choice or make me a choice at all. I've done it to other people too, but really I just said no and they went, and then they got over it and we're still friends, or we're not. You just gotta love yourself and love other people, and then it doesn't matter. I mean, you can love somebody without romance, and you can certainly romance somebody without love, which is, like I said, that's why the friend zone doesn't exist, because you can do all the things you do in the friend zone without hard feelings. The hard feelings are the problem, and that's the construct. So get over yourself. And get over her, get over him. Have fun in the non-friend zone. In the real zone. Don't know if I offered you anything of value. If I did, great. I'll talk more later. You can subscribe. You can like this. You can share it if you're crazy. I'll talk to you later. Bye.